Congresswoman Katherine Clark of Massachusetts, a second-ranking Democrat in the House of Representatives. Congresswoman, thank you so much for being here. Let's start where John and Jim just left off with what the newest statement from the President of the United States. We can put it up once again. We don't need to read it back in full, but essentially saying, calling out the UK, also later in a subsequent social media post calling out France and saying, essentially, if you're running out of jet fuel, buy from the U.S. And number two, build up some delayed courage, go to the strait and just take it. You'll have to start learning how to fight for yourself. The USA won't be there to help anymore. What do you think the president's saying here? What do you read to this?
You know, we have heard so much from this president, except what is the clear reason we got into this war? What are the objectives and what is the exit strategy? So now we are supposed to understand from him that he went into this war, took the American people, our sons and daughters, into this war without a clear objective. The Strait of Hormuz was closed, spiking gas prices at the pump to over $4, average across the country. And now he's saying we're going to pull out of there, leaving the strait closed. I mean, what is this? And it is so irresponsible and such a dangerous position that he has put the United States in. And instead of leading, telling us what the strategy is, how we get out of this, he is blaming it on allies who were not consulted before he made this war of choice.
This also seems to speak to reporting that has also come out. The Wall Street Journal reporting that the president, the way they write it, is the president has told aides he is willing to end the U.S. military campaign against Iran, even if the Strait of Hormuz remains largely closed. Which would then likely extend Tehran's firm grip on the waterway, leaving a complex operation to reopen it for a later date. And that the reporting from the Journal is that he'd be okay with taking out the Navy, which the military seems to have largely done, and also missile stockpiles, and then begin to withdraw and try to leave it then for diplomatic talks to somehow end the war. Yeah. Would you support that? If he states that is the now end game of this war, would you support that?
You know, what I would support is for this president for once to put the American people first. He took them into this war. He is now proposing to pay for this war with further cuts to their health care. He's put a further strain on budgets. If this is him saying
this is how we're leaving the war, what do you say to that?
Well, let's have him for once lay it out for the American people. What is the exit strategy? How do you make sure the American people are safe? What are our national security interests? Do you make sure you are leading with those? I have heard nothing from the White House about any kind of exit strategy. They owe the American people that. But what they are willing to do is use the American people and their opportunity. And they are telling us over and over they are not making it in this economy. And if he leaves that region with the strait closed and says we'll deal with that some other day, what does that do to small businesses? What does that do to the American family who are seeing this additional spike in costs that he's already put on them with tariffs by taking away their health care, soaring housing, grocery, and utility costs? And so this is a mess of his own making that he must come to a rational exit strategy.
And some of the American people that you're speaking to are also additionally suffering right now, which would be TSA workers, which would be other DHS federal workers who are still not getting paid. The problem, though, we are seeing back pay showing up in bank accounts for some TSA workers. We're seeing security lines getting shorter at airports across the country. The problem is not fixed. And in light of that, it's still a mess of Congress's making that is still not been fixed. And the head of TMZ has taken it upon himself to essentially put a call out to the public, to call all of you out for leaving Washington while this mess is still in place. Let me play what Harvey Levin has said.
The point of this is to show how fed up the American people are, because we are. And it's so insulting that they are, the Republicans blame the Democrats. Lindsey Graham was quick to say it's the Democrats' fault. No, it's both your faults, because two sides have to come together to compromise. They are unable to do it. And yeah, one can blame the other, but the bottom line is you got to figure out how to do it in order to run government. And they haven't done it. And not only have they not done it, they just threw up their hands and said, we're leaving.
Lindsey Graham was seen photographed in Disney. I saw a video, you were tracked and filmed walking through an airport leaving Washington. Respond to the criticism. TSA workers have had their lives upended. People have missed family moments because they've been stuck in 4-hour-long lines at airport security and missed their flights. And you all could not miss a 2-week recess. Respond to that.
We should be in Washington today. I agree with everything he just said. And what did we get to? We got to a bipartisan agreement. There is one segment of Congress that wouldn't come and take a step forward into agreeing to put TSA workers, put Coast Guard, FEMA, our cybersecurity, those working at our ports and in customs first, pay them for the work they are doing. And that's House Republicans. Unanimous in the Senate, Republicans and Democrats. That is what the people are hungry for us to come
people
together.
People are just also feeling like you guys just don't get it. I mean, over and over again. This is not the first shutdown that they've been dealing with. And at some point, this will get fixed. How much pain will be felt and how that lingers is unclear. But going forward, do you support the idea? I've seen some efforts. They've never gone through. It's like the conversation of term limits. Everyone wants it, but it's never going to happen. That members of Congress should also not get paid if there is a shutdown or there is a default. Do you, at some point, feel the pain that people are feeling?
Yeah. And I do feel the pain that people are feeling, and I hear it every single place that I go in my district. And this is a hardship. And what we want to do is come together and actually govern. And there is one segment of Congress that rejected that this week and then sent us home. So, of course, people are angry. Of course they are. And it's, the TSA workers have this public-facing problem. So Americans see them, but there are so many other workers at DHS that need to be paid. We have made the proposal to open up every part of DHS. We already know that ICE and Border Patrol are being paid. Right. What we said is not an additional dime for them until they act like every other police department and have common sense reforms. But we were willing to say those negotiations will be ongoing as DHS reopens. That has been rejected by the Republicans and using these workers as political pawns.
Something's got to give. Hopefully it gives soon. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Kate.